What is the actual difference between an index fund, a mutual fund, and an ETF? These three terms get thrown around constantly in the investing world, and honestly, even the experts mix them up sometimes. It's incredibly confusing when you're starting out. I've seen people lose weeks of progress or pay thousands of unnecessary taxes and fees just because they picked the wrong basket for their money. I want to save you that stress. In today's video, I'm going to pull back the curtain on all three and explain their differences that's quick and easy to understand. We'll look at the history, the hidden costs, and the one deal breaker feature that usually decides which one is right for you. If you want to stop guessing and start investing with confidence, keep watching. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. This channel is dedicated to making the complex world of money simple for beginners, and I post new videos every week, so make sure you follow along. With that being said, let's get into it. To understand where we are, we have to look at where we started. Mutual funds are the oldest of the bunch, dating all the way back to the 1800s. Before mutual funds existed, if you wanted to own 100 different companies, you had to manually buy 100 different stocks. Imagine the paperwork, the 100 different trading commissions, and the hours spent clicking buy over and over. It was a mess. Mutual funds solve this by allowing a massive group of investors to pool their cash together. A professional manager then takes part of that giant pot of money and buys a diverse portfolio on everyone's behalf. There are three main pillars that make mutual funds attractive. Number one is massive convenience. You make one single purchase and instantly you own a tiny slice of hundreds of businesses. Number two is instant diversification. This is the don't put all your eggs in one basket rule. If you own 100 stocks and one goes to zero, it only represents 1% of your portfolio. You're basically protected from total catastrophe. And number three is expert management. You get a highly educated fund manager who spends 60 hours a week researching companies so you don't have to. But here's the problem. These experts aren't working for free. When a person is actively picking stocks to try and beat the market, it's called active management. They typically charge an expense ratio of 1 to 2%, and that might sound small, but let's do the math. If you have $10,000 invested, you're paying $200 a year to own the fund. And the worst part? Even if the manager does a terrible job and your account value drops, they still take their 1 to 2%. You could be losing money while the manager is making millions in fees. Over 30 years, those fees can quietly eat away at your returns. For most people, traditional mutual funds just aren't worth the price tag. The index fund. In the 1970s, a man named Jack Bogle changed everything. He realized that most expert managers actually performed worse than the stock market average. So he created a new category of mutual fund, the index fund. The philosophy of passive management: instead of paying a genius to guess which stock will go up, an index fund follows a mathematical formula and it tracks an index, which is just a list of stocks used to measure the market. The most famous index is called the S&P 500. When you buy an S&P 500 index fund, you aren't paying a manager to think. You're paying a computer to copy the list. This is what's called passive management. Because there's no high-priced CEO to pay, the fees plummet. While a mutual fund might charge 2%, a Fidelity S&P 500 index fund like FXAIX only charges 0.015%. That is practically free. Now, how do you identify index funds? An index fund will always tell you exactly what it's tracking. If you look at the paperwork, it will say something like, "This fund seeks to track the performance of a benchmark index." If it says the manager independently selects stocks, run away. That is an expensive, actively managed fund. Now, some popular index funds include Fidelity's S&P 500 Index Fund, otherwise known as FXAIX, Fidelity's Total Stock Market Index Fund, otherwise known as FSKAX, Vanguard's S&P 500 Index Fund, VFIAX, and Vanguard's Total Stock Market Index Fund, VTSAX, ETFs. About 15 years after index funds arrived, the ETF, or Exchange Traded Fund, was born. ETFs and index funds are like identical twins with different personalities. They both track an index like the S&P 500, and they both have very low fees. The difference is in the exchange traded part of the name. Index funds are only bought once a day, so if you put in an order at 10 a.m., nothing happens until the market closes at 4 p.m. ETFs trade exactly like a stock. You can see the price move up and down every second, and you can buy or sell them instantly throughout the day. Now, people often ask, isn't being able to trade all day better? Honestly, for most of us, no. In fact, it's often a disadvantage. Because ETFs trade like stocks, it's very easy to get emotional. You see the market dip at noon, you get scared, and you sell. Index funds force you to be patient because you can't day trade them. And like I've mentioned in all of my videos, investing is about timing the market, not trying to time the market. By removing the ability to react instantly, index funds actually protect you from your own impulses. Some popular ETFs include the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, otherwise known as VOO, the Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF, otherwise known as VTI, the Vanguard Total International Stock ETF, otherwise known as VXUS, and so many more. Now let's go over why index funds and ETFs are elite. This is the most important part of the video. The main reason why I personally prefer index funds and ETFs comes down to automation. If you want to be a successful investor, you need to make it automatic. Most index funds and ETFs allow you to set up a recurring buy. You can tell Vanguard or Fidelity, hey, every Friday, take $50 from my checking account and buy more of this specific fund. It happens in the background while you sleep. You don't have to log in, you don't have to look at the price, and there are no extra fees. That automation is the secret sauce that helps people reach million-dollar portfolios. Now, speaking of automation, if you want to get started with your investing journey, I've left a link below to SOFI, which is where I automate my investing into ETFs. And if you sign up using the link, you can get a free stock just for signing up and linking your bank account. Take charge and start your investing journey today, and your future self will thank you. Now let's recap everything. Mutual funds are the original way to pool money, but are often ruined by high fees and active managers. Index funds are a low-cost version of a mutual fund that tracks the market and allows for 100% automation. ETFs are a low-cost basket that trades like a stock, offering flexibility and also allowing for 100% automation as well. Now the biggest question you probably have is, which should you choose? If you want to set it and forget it, go with index funds. If you're someone who wants to buy or sell more frequently, go with ETFs. Hey, I'd love to hear from you. Are you a fan of the set it and forget it index fund method, or do you like the flexibility of ETFs? Let me know in the comments below. If you're still feeling a bit lost on which specific index to pick, check out some of my other videos where I compare the S&P 500 versus total market funds, and go over some great fund options as well. And like I mentioned earlier, if you want to get started with your investing journey, I've left a link below to SOFI, which is where I automate my personal investing into ETFs. And if you sign up using the link below, you can get a free stock just for signing up and linking your bank account. Always remember that your life is a masterpiece, so let's unlock your full financial potential together. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.